council meeting. I will call the meeting to order and ask Nicole to take roll call, please.
Blake,
Here.
Harvey Montgomery,
Here.
Kroll,
Here.
McBurney,
Here.
Obrecht.
Here.
Okay, please stand your table for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agenda. I'll ask for a motion in a second, please. Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote.
My iPad just turned off.
Okay, that passes. Item 3, we have several very special presentations tonight. First, we are going to introduce our newest member of the Urbandale Police Department, and that's Canine Dog Basco. And I'm going to introduce us. I'm going to ask Captain Dan Stan to come up. Dan?
Mayor, council members, I'd like to introduce you to our newest canine, Basco, kind of like Tabasco. Basco is a 2-year-old German Shepherd originally from Poland, where he received his initial training. He was brought to the United States by Blue Streak Canine Training out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, in November of 2021, and received additional training there. His handler, Officer Carlos Pacheco Meza, trained with Basco for 3 weeks in February of this year. He's a dual-purpose canine. He is trained for patrol and narcotic detection. His skills in tracking, handler protection, off-leash obedience, article, area, and building searches, and criminal apprehension, along with he is trained to find marijuana, methamphetamine, cocaine, crack cocaine, heroin, and ecstasy. Basco and his handler continue to receive ongoing monthly training. Since March of this year, the canine unit has been deployed over 34 times. Some of these deployments include narcotic sniffs on traffic stops, tracking for fleeing criminals, building security during search warrants, and community event demonstrations. Other agencies have requested the canine unit when theirs is not available or they don't have one. Basco has been used by the U.S. Postal Inspectors, which has led to several pounds of illegal narcotics and more than $15,000 in illegal drug money being sent through the mail. Mayor, council, I present Basco.
All right. Basco, welcome aboard. I'd like to do the swearing in the office, but I don't know if he can raise his right paw for that. So. But wonderful, and we're glad to have him aboard. So.
He's a beautiful dog. He lives with our handler. So they're together 24/7. And he has a vehicle equipped specifically for the canine, what has heat and cool depending on the weather. So, and of course, right now it's very hot, so we need that AC in the back of that car. But wonderful dog, doing wonderful with the U.S. Postal Inspectors, finding stuff that's sent through the mail. It's unbelievable what people will send through the mail. So.
Any questions? I think I've already asked you a million questions about it.
We're glad to have him aboard. So you want to say anything further, Officer Pacheco?
He's a good dog.
Well, thank you for being the handler for him. That is truly a special role too. So thank you for stepping up to be the handler for him. So appreciate that.
We are taking volunteers for light work.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, several of the council members wanted to do maul the mayor, but we'll see about that, so.
Or see who can get the furthest.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard, Vasco. All right, item 3.2 is to have the presentation regarding the Mid-American Best of Iowa Excellence Award presentation for business expansion and strategic trends of the Iowa Excellence Award. And to kick us off for that, I'm going to introduce Kelly Swenson from Mid-American Energy. Kelly?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Kelly Swenson, like you mentioned. I'm with Mid-American Energy. Tonight, I'm actually here representing the Best of Iowa program and management team. BEST stands for Business Expansion and Strategic Trends. It's the statewide business retention expansion program that's implemented at the local level by communities and economic development organizations to meet with primary sector employers, potential growth companies, and targeted businesses in your community that to sit down, have conversations with them about what's going well with their business in the community. Where are their challenges? Where are there opportunities to provide collaboration and partnership? And under the leadership of Curtis Brown and Aaron DeYoung at the City of Urbandale, they do an excellent job of getting these visits completed. And each year we sit down, we draft out a list of who's on the target list and who we want to sit down and have those conversations with. And last year was a very challenging year. All the businesses were, coming out of that COVID. They weren't allowing a lot of external visitors. They were ignoring emails and things like that for trying to schedule visits. And your staff did a remarkable job of sticking with the program and really buy into what BEST is all about, because they understand the importance of these visits. So each year, BEST recognizes one or multiple communities with our excellence awards. And the criteria are the number of visits that are completed on their target list, the quality of the data that is received and submitted to us statewide for review and inclusion in the annual report, barriers that have to be overcome to complete their visits, and then also the partnerships and the collaboration that they include with doing their scheduled visits. So, in Urbandale, you guys do a great job of including the Chamber. Mayor, I know you've been on some visits with us, Mid-American Energy and the Greater Des Moines Partnership. They bring all of those groups together to sit down and have conversations with your employers to make sure that, we can address issues or concerns or opportunities to grow. So with that is a big reason why we chose Urbandale this year. Couldn't be more excited and proud to partner with you guys and Curtis and everybody on the work that we're doing, and looking forward to, just continuing to grow that partnership. So with that, I'd like to present the award to you. Yes, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Kelly, I just want to say on behalf of the city, thank you, and thank you for the contributions of Mid-American Energy, because truly, it takes a partnership of a lot of people to get things done. Mid-American Energy has been a critical partner for us through the years. So I want to thank you for everything you've done for not only Urbandale, but obviously the entire Mid-American region, and to promote economic development and do it the right way, and to make sure that the customer is always taken care of. So thank you very much for your help on that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Next, we have a proclamation for Juneteenth of 2022. Whereas it is recognized that on June 19, 1865 in Galveston, Texas, word was finally received that 2 years prior, President Abraham Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And since then, across the nation, Juneteenth has been held with celebrations and remembrance. And whereas in 2021, Congress set aside and President Biden signed into law June 19th as a federal holiday. And whereas Juneteenth is more than a day of observance, it's a day to recommit to the work of equality, justice, and equity. It's a day to continue the path started by educators, civil rights leaders, courageous citizens, public officials, and everyday Americans that have struggled to lead the way in lasting justice. We must not forget or silence history. So now therefore I, Robert Andeweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council, proclaim June 19th as a day of observance in the City of Urbandale, and to remind everyone that Juneteenth is more than commemorating the past. It is a call to act each day to end the systemic racism that stains our country's founding principles. I'm proud to sign this on June 14 of this year. And I do want to note also, we're doing more obviously than just a proclamation. We're going to have a lot of events, and I know I have it right here. Just want to note some of the events that we'll be doing on behalf of the Juneteenth celebration. I guess that was yesterday. The community band played, but that was yesterday. So the community band played yesterday and played some songs from African-American composers. Our Page Turners Book Club will be reading and discussing When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, an African-American author. The book club will be meeting on June 16th at the library, and this book explores issues of racism and gentrification. We'll also be showing a documentary, Summer of Soul, for our June movie night on June 15, which is tomorrow night. The documentary explores the Harlem Cultural Festival in 1969, which celebrated African-American history, culture, and music. We've interviewed Dwana Bradley, General Chairperson of the Iowa Juneteenth Festival, for the library's June podcast, and that podcast can be accessed on the Urbandale Library website. And we've also created several displays throughout the library and on our own online catalog that features books, audiobooks, and movies for the Juneteenth-related topics, the history of African Americans, and the works by African American authors. So thanks to Nicholas and the Urbandale Library for doing that. All right, and we'll also have a proclamation for the Urbandale Chamber of Commerce 60th anniversary. Whereas the Urbandale Chamber of Commerce is a private, not-for-profit business membership association that was incorporated in 1962. And whereas today the Urbandale Chamber is a catalyst organization that works to serve, protect, promote, and provide opportunities to businesses. And whereas the Urbandale Chamber has seen exceptional growth over the last 60 years, and in 2022 is made up of 725 area businesses that represent more than 22,000 employees. It's been rated as the best local chamber in Central Iowa by the readers of City View's Best of Des Moines, an amazing 9 times. So now, therefore, I, Robert Andeweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council and the entire community, do hereby congratulate the Urbandale Chamber of Commerce on its 60th anniversary and urge all residents to support the Urbandale Chamber and its member businesses. And I know Christy Jones, the chair, is here as well, and as well as Creighton Cox, I know, is on the board. So you guys, if you want to come up and accept this proclamation. I'm sorry, I missed you.
So, hi, Matt. Hi, thank you on behalf of this mayor and council. We do appreciate this. I do want to say we're having a party because I like to throw parties. So next week, you are all invited to our 60th party. It is going to be at the Urbandale Golf and Country Club from 4 to 6 p.m. We have some great member businesses that are providing some food, and of course the golf Country Club will be providing drinks as well. We'll have a short program at, I believe, 5 o'clock. So please come out. It's free to attend, and we're expecting a lot of people and a lot of good times to be had. So please come out if you can. And thank you very much. And I know, I believe the chamber actually started in City Hall. Was that correct?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know,
We finally had to kick Tiffany out because she was too noisy.
right, that's what I was heard, but we do appreciate the proclamation and hope to see you all there.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you for, again, our partnership with the chamber is long-lasting. We truly appreciate that lasting relationship. We share a logo together and a lot of other things, but it's more than that. It's truly we do things for the best of Urbandale. So thank you for everything for the chamber. So.
Well, and thank you for your support as well, too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Christy. And lastly, before I move on to Citizens Forum, I do want to ask for a moment of silence. Bill Lawson, a longtime resident of Urbandale, died this past week. Bill was 91 years old. Bill did so much for our community. He was really one of the founding members of DUNA, the Downtown Urbandale Neighborhood Association. He was on our water board. He did so many things. Just looking to see the other activities, but did so much for our community. You know, Bill lived just east of our original City Hall on Roseland Avenue and was very proud of that area and did so much for that area. And again, his founding Duna, it was his belief that that area really needed to be picked up and represented well. And I was talking to EJ the other day about EJ Giovanetti, and EJ always said, well, whenever I saw Bill at City Hall, I'd always be knowing that Bill would be asking money for something for downtown Urbandale. But he was a tireless promoter of not just downtown, but especially downtown, but also for the entire city. So just having to have a moment of silence for Bill Lawson, if you could, please. Thank you. I just remembered what I wanted to say about Bill too. Not only was he a Citizen of the Year, but also a member of the Urbandale Chamber Hall of Fame. So I want to recognize him for that. So thank you for that moment of silence. All right, we will now go to Citizens Forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to address the council at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Then to the adoption of the minutes for the May 31 meeting. For a motion in a second. Motion by McBurney. Second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that item passes. Item 6 is the consent agenda, and we do have one special one I'm going to note after the vote, but I'm going to ask for a motion in a second on those 15 items on the consent agenda. Motion by Blake, second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. And as part of that approval, we did approve, once again, that we're going to have 4th of July again this year. So I want to recognize several members from the 4th of July committee to come up and be recognized and tell us about the events for the 4th of July. Mary, you've got the pens too, right?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. On behalf of the Urbandale 4th of July Committee, I'm here tonight to present and sell to the mayor and city manager
Got my money.
their #1 and #2 buttons. We also have a bag full of buttons for everybody else, so pull out. We don't have change, so if you only have a 20, you're getting 4 buttons.
All right.
So we're really excited this year. We've got a number of new rides and amusement activities going on. Again, it'll be on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, each day starting at noon. And then we also, our website now is up and operational. It's Urbandale 4th of July .org. I can never remember.
Yep. .org.com, 4th, ORGH.
We have them all.
Just
but-
Google it.
Just
Yeah,
Google it,
if
it'll
you,
pop up.
everything is out there. If you have any questions, we have a Q&A out there. All of our applications for the parade, for the fun run, for selling buttons, it's all on the website. So we're really very excited about that.
All right.
Okay.
Better get up there too.
Yeah, get 7 more out, 5.
Well, we'll let them pick.
I only have it was a 2 or it was a 10 or a 50, so. I chose a 10. But somebody's business, right? Might have wrote a check too. Yeah, I think I get 10 buttons through.
Let's move us a little more. They can get it right. Wonderful. Could you edit that, Derek?
So I just want to point out the button design this year is US and U, so starting for United States and Urbandale, or more importantly, it's for us and you, showing how Urbandale is so connected. You take all this, buddy. You're the button man. I'm the treasurer. I'll get it later. I'll find it, and then you need some change. Donations? Oh, yeah, we'll find 42 for you.
Good day.
Yeah.
All right.
2.
All right.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Sign me up. I'd rather do pie than.
Anybody out here would like a button?
Goes upon the fireworks.
I'll make a fool of myself.
All right. Thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you, everyone.
all
Thank
for
you
your hard
again.
work.
Again, thanks for the 4th of July committee. Again, not many people realize this. I mean, obviously the regulars do, but this is not a city-sponsored event. It's obviously city-sponsored, but it's, the private committee that does this and organizes this. So it's a lot of work with no pay and other than gratification. So thank you for everything you do for our community. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Do you have to pay for your t-shirt? They give it to you. Part of the package.
And if you don't already know, make sure you buy the buttons. Just help support the fireworks display.
Hours and hours of work. You get a t-shirt.
All right, we will move on to item 7, the public hearings. We have one public hearing. That's item 7.1, the Best Manor Business Center Amendment to the Planned Unit Development Master Plan. It's 9370 Plum Drive. Public notice for this was published in the June 3, 2022 Des Moines Register, and ask the clerk for any objections to that notice as published.
There were none.
Ask for a motion and a second. Public hearing. Motion by Blake, second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. I heard you, Amy, but you were just lines. All right, that passes. And introducing this is our Community Development Director, Steve Franklin. Steve?
Not sure how I'm supposed to follow the annual 4th of July button sale, but we'll give it a try.
Well, it's better than Basco, probably.
That's true. That's true. So this is a PUD amendment for Premier Tech. Premier Tech is a global agricultural science and technology business that's based in Canada. And there is a site plan on this agenda further on down the road. But before we do that, needed to consider a request to amend the PUD with respect to exterior building materials. And I've got the elevations up here for you to see. As you all know, for some time, Urbandale has required predominantly brick on all of our commercial buildings. And there's lots of reasons for that. The main reason is just brick has always been and is still, in my opinion, and I think most people would agree, recognized as just a very strong, very durable, very high quality type of product. It's fired clay and lasts forever, and generally. And it's just a really nice material and tends to portray an image of quality and durability. So what we need to consider in situations like this, Premier Tech has a corporate image and identity that they want to try to maintain with the facilities that they have around the world. And frankly, what they're proposing are also very high-end materials. So if you look at the north elevation here on top, this is what you're going to see from Plum Drive as you would drive past the front of the building. This is all glass. This darker black color that you see here. This dark gray is terracotta panels. And terracotta, this is similar to what Delta Dental used on North Park Drive. It's the material is actually also a fired clay product. So it's going to be a very strong, very durable product. But instead of being the individual brick modules, it comes in bigger panels. So again, a very high quality product. And then the white that's up above that you see is insulated architectural metal panels. It have very clean lines. A lot of times in our PUDs, we say metal walls are not allowed, and that goes back to the old corrugated metal panels. There's a lot of architectural stuff out there these days. It's very high quality, very high end, and looks really nice. So these materials, from a cost standpoint, are at least as much, if not more, than what brick would be. And again, fits into their corporate identity and the image that they want to portray for their buildings around the world. So this is what they would like to propose. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval and would be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Steve. Any questions for Steve on this item?
I guess the backside of the building is kind of a residential area, and I know there's some screening in the site plan. Is there any material difference on the backside because it's also highly visible?
Correct, yep. So this is what you would see on the backside, which is going to be the higher portion of the building, which is their R&D component of it. You might have seen in the P&Z minutes, it's a little bit taller, but it's no taller than what you would see in the back of a 3-story home. If it was a walkout, you'd see those same 3 stories. The other thing that does come into play here, as you mentioned, is there is a requirement for a 50-foot landscape buffer with a berm and plantings on top of that will soften that. And the fact that the back of the building, or excuse me, from the rear property line of the nearest residential to the building is 167 feet away. So the distance plus the screening and the fact that it is a nicer looking product, Planning and Zoning Commission felt like that mitigated that situation.
And then as we kind of go through the comp plan, do you envision us not having as many of these requests in the future?
I do, yeah. I just, as, like I noted in the staff report, you know, that 20 years ago, it was fair to say there were a lot of concrete products out there that were made to look like brick, but in the sun, they would fade. A lot of these architectural metal panels have come about in the past 10 years. So there's lots of good, high-quality materials out there these days. I would suggest we still continue to prefer buildings that are predominantly brick, but there's clearly a lot of other good materials that people can use, and I do think that will be one of the things that comes out of the comp plan review, yes.
So since we're on that tangent, would that be something we could review, rely on you to review?
Sure,
so
yeah,
it
I mean,
wouldn't
we can set it up, we'll have that conversation, and we can set it up however you all want to set it up. It's always kind of been where staff is going to request what the materials are and give you our professional opinion, and then obviously you all get to make the decision. I just think what we're going to find is that, you know, again, where brick was kind of maybe alone at the top of durable, high-quality products, I think there's a lot more stuff out there now other than brick that we could do.
All right. Any other comments right now? All right, we are on public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, then I'll ask for a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that passes. One item for consideration.
Move council letter 7116.
Motion by Obrecht, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, thank you. That passes. And then we have the site plan later on the agenda for that as well. So moving then on to item 8, item 8.1 is to establish a public hearing for the amendment number 1 to the amended and restated Westover Urban Renewal Plan. First, answer any questions on this and then all the other ones as well here. We're setting July 12 as the public hearing date for this and the other two as well.
Do I have to approve the resolution or the council letter?
It doesn't, either way.
I'll approve council letter 7118.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. It accomplishes the same thing, so. All right, that item passes.
I will also move approval.
can I-
Oh, sorry, you have to announce.
Can I announce the
Sorry.
first item 8.2 is to establish the public hearing for amendment number 4 to the amended and restated downtown Urbandale neighborhood area urban renewal plan.
I'll move approval of council letter 7119.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 8.3 is to establish the public hearing for the second amended and restated Northwest Market Center urban renewal plan.
I will move approval of council letter 7120.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. And that passes. And then moving on to item 9 is the one planning zoning item. Item 9.1 is the Premier Tech site plan for 9370 Plum Drive. Steve.
Okay, so this is the site plan for Premier Tech. This is Plum Drive up here at the top of the sheet. Right turn lane to get in here. You can see pavement that would connect to development on either side, already an existing building over here on the west side. This dark gray is their pavement coming around the building. This large island is to facilitate truck movements for coming in and backing into the one dock that they have, which does face away from the residential area, so that is compliant with code. The other thing they are requesting is we do allow a deferment of up to 20% of the parking spaces. And so they're gonna build in the gray here what they believe they need now, but we do require them to show us on the site plan where those additional parking spaces would be constructed should they ever need them in the future. The building is located right here in the middle, a total of 15,739 square feet. The majority of that, 8,700, is office area. And then there's just over 7,000 square feet in the rear taller portion of the building back here that is their R&D type area. So there is more office than the research than the R&D area. 17.5 feet in height with the front portion, and then this back portion goes up taller than that. They did get permission from the Board of Adjustment to increase their clear ceiling height to take care of those R&D developments that they take care of inside of the building. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval. Be happy to answer questions.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Any questions?
Curbs.
Curbs?
So just because of where my office is, 104th Street, totally redid. All the businesses that have high traffic have started to see busting of their curbs. Is there any softer curbs on something like this or better withstand instead of just the L shape or whatever curb it is?
I will tell you from a design standpoint, and Nikki Neal's here with CDA, could talk about this a little bit more, but they do have bigger radiuses coming in than what we see with a lot of these projects. And then, like I said, they've got this island back here to kind of facilitate. So I think they've done a better job than a lot of people do to get those bigger radiuses so the trucks don't hit the curb. That's the limit of what I would say about it. I don't know if you'd add anything, but.
Yeah, it seems like where there's maybe a softer curb or something like that, they withstand a heck of a lot better and aren't breaking up.
Yeah,
But-
they do. I mean, and there are different types of curbs you could use. Obviously, the most popular one is just gonna be your standard 6-inch curb. The biggest problem though, having used to been on the side that designs these, is people just don't use big enough radiuses. If you use a big enough radius, that truck's never gonna hit the curb, we're not gonna have a problem.
With that,
I move Council Letter 7117.
motion by Kroll. Second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. All right, thank you. That passes, and thanks to Premier Tech for investing in our community. Appreciate it. All right, moving on then to item 10, regular agenda items. We have item 10.1, which is to consider the insurance coverage for fiscal year 22-23. And John Conyer would answer any questions if there are.
I have a question or a comment. Sorry, John, you thought you were gonna get off easy. So we just went through this at DART last week with ICAP, and we had a significant increase in our rates, and decided that next year we're going to look beyond ICAP for the services. I think it was Ankeny that indicated that they don't participate in ICAP. So I just wondered if that is something that we've considered. I'm not an insurance person. I trust your judgment, but having had that conversation last week, I just thought I would bring it up here for a little bit of discussion.
Thank you, council member. I also brought the insurance broker with us. We have Jake Benchall as well also, who'd be more than happy to answer some of those questions. The city has been with the pool since its inception. There is a exit to leave. So the amount that you have invested in ICAP at the pool when you initially join, you forego if you leave the pool. And that is significant. About 8 or 9 years ago, we did go to the market and look to see who else would quote us. We did receive a quote from another company. However, when you took the exit amount in with what you would pay, it became pretty much a wash, and we stayed at that point in time. It's definitely something that we could look at next year to see if we want to go back to the market and see if that would make sense at this point in time. However, on a macro scale, the markets have hardened recently. I'm sure as we all feel at DART and here, prices have gone up. So it may not be the most opportune time to look. Usually private insurance hardens faster and harder than a pool, but we could definitely look at it and see what comes out.
Well, like I said, I trust your judgment and your judgment as to what our, best options are, but I just thought I would bring that up for a little bit of discussion. And I'm sure if you guys think that it's the appropriate thing to do, then we can, who knows how much, relatively speaking, that's not a whole lot of our budget, so I don't know how much money we could actually save. But a 30+% increase is significant at the same time, so.
We built a brand new building, the Parks and Public Works Maintenance
Yeah.
Facility, which was a large chunk of that. Inflation, unfortunately, as we have all had, and seeing was another part of that. And then I will say on the pool level, ICAP is taking some nice educational training opportunities out there. Public officials and law enforcement have really been a large loss leader these past couple of years. And so because of that, the rates have increased significantly, and the pool has not given a credit the last 2 years, which was $36,000 when we got it 3.5 years or so ago. So I don't know, it would be great if the pool would give a credit again, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one either, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? If not, your motion.
I'll move approval of council letter 7110.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. Okay, thank you. That passes. John, again, thanks for your work on it. I know it's not easy, and it's not an easy answer all the time either, but I know we've been looking and trying to get reality checks for what's the best result overall for our taxpayers. So thank you for redoing that again. Appreciate it. Item 10.2 is to consider the fiscal year 22-23 stormwater grant program, and to introduce this is our Director of Engineering and Public Works, John Larson. John.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Oh, need to sign in, there we go. Yeah, we're just gonna talk a little bit about our upgrading proposal to our stormwater grant program. Just a little bit about the program. Currently, we have the grant to assist property owners in dealing with stormwater management on their private property. Some of the different projects that they can use are for regrading overflow swales, installing subdrains in their rear yard to help dry up the backyard, repairing different erosion that's happening where they're losing soil in their yard, restoring our detention areas back to their original volume, or for soil quality restoration. So currently our program reimburses up to 50% of eligible expenses once the project is done. We have upper limits of the grants of $5,000 per individual lots and up to $20,000 for the groups, which also does include our HOAs. For our soil quality restoration, we limited it at $1,000 for a typical single-family home, and then if you're a non-residential lot, it can be up to $5,000. Then our commercial properties, it's a little bit of a tiered system. It's $10,000 for the first 10 ERUs, and if you're bigger than that, you can get up to $500 for each additional 0.5 ERUs you have, to a maximum of $30,000. So what we're recommending is to continue with the 50% match, but increase our limits. So basically an individual lot would increase from 5,000 to 10,000, and then the groups could increase from 20,000 to 30,000, which again would include those HOAs. And then our soil quality restoration, we'd increase that from 1,000 to 2,000 on the single family homes, but keep the 5,000 the same amount for the larger residential lots. Then our commercial property limits would remain unchanged. And the reason for a couple of those not changing is soil quality restoration, I think we've had maybe 3 individual lots take advantage of that. So it hasn't been a popular program yet, and really commercial properties have not really taken advantage of the program either. So didn't see a reason to increase limits there. And then I wanted to just kind of show how our program compares to others in the metro. Now, some of these we didn't have all the information or couldn't find some of their budgets, but just as a comparison, currently Urbandale and Waukee offer the most with matching up to $5,000. But you see places like Ankeny, they only match up to $1,800, or Des Moines, $2,000. And then some of these, like I said, that we could find for their budget, Ankeny only budgets $15,000 a year. We currently budget $200,000 a year. Waukee, $50,000, Windsor Heights, $10,000. And I also included the rain barrels on the right. We're at the top with Des Moines at matching up to $100, and then kind of the norm within the metro is they'd match up to $75. So with our proposed increases, I think we'll definitely have the most generous program in the metro. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for John?
And I forget from last time too, we have rollover funds currently in that, right? How much money is sitting in that stormwater grant account?
We do have rollover funds, so again, I think with our new budget coming, we'd have like 400,000 in there that we could give out. Just kind of my opinion on that is, since we are getting quite a balance, I think we could maybe in future budgets put less into there, kind of monitor it, and then that stormwater funds could be used on other projects, whether it's capital improvements or other things.
And when it comes to the 30,000 joint limit, how often do people come together and how many times have we gotten to that 20,000 before?
A few times. When you get into a kind of a larger neighborhood that needs a lot of tile line to end up to fix a drainage issue, we get close. Or with the HOAs, a lot of times they might have a large drainage area. So again, not often. I would say a lot of our more common ones are in the few $1,000 range, but we do on occasion have the larger projects. And that's really where this was first kind of brought up, the idea is to help with these drainage and with these larger projects, because the city didn't have a way. I think we've tackled a lot of the ones that we knew about. And I think right now we also look at our developments differently. You know, a lot of the times we're fixing things that might be 30, 40 years old, where now we might have people pipe things so we don't have the erosion, or we make them rock the channels and stuff before the homeowner takes it over. So I think we're trying to kind of eliminate some of those problems now going forward.
Do you feel if we let's say we increased it to 40 or 50,000, do you think that we would ever reach projects of that level? Or is there a demand for that type of level of projects in our community?
What we've allowed in the past, and the only time I said they get really big are the homeowners association. So they may do 2 projects. One year they'll do this part, and the next year they'll do another part. Just so again, they're still allowed to do a different area. So they've kind of we've worked with them and worked around that, I guess. So I don't think it'd be often, or again, we just don't seem to have really large projects being presented to us or anything like that, or where we can say, oh, we just don't have the money for it, or it's hitting the max on an often basis. Like I said, a lot of things are the few $1,000s, or at least lately, that's what they've been.
And just the line of questioning is I would be interested in potentially raising those maxes from just 30 to even 40,000, maybe even higher. But if everybody else finds that 30,000 is sufficient, we don't need to do that. That was just something I was thinking in line of. I mean, I think your previous discussion said that we've tackled the low-hanging fruit really in the community in many ways. So we may have these more expensive projects are the ones that are left. So I don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know that many of the larger ones have come to us. I mean, again, we have the one that kind of brought this up in their rear yard. Again, if we still keep it the 50-50 match, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because again, it's really hard to say, I guess, how much property owners are willing to put into a project, and it also kind of factors into how many neighbors get into it. But I think it's rare that we have more than the 3-4 neighbors to begin with.
Well, and I don't feel like it's so much the max amount that we'll match. I think it's, at least to me, one of the barriers could potentially be that they have to front load the cost. So they have to pay for it up front and then get their reimbursement later. So I don't know if it's so much raising the cap as much as it is some people not taking advantage of it because they just can't afford it out of pocket to begin with. So I'd be okay with
I guess, how fast are we paying on these? Because I guess I assume that the contractor presents a bill, we pay half, they pay half.
No, basically the property owner pays it all. They have to show us their receipt and show that they truly paid it, and then we go out and inspect it, make sure it's done, and then quickly we get a check to them shortly thereafter.
Could that be something of the process where we're paying on the same invoice they're paying in essence? So they have to front their half, but we're paying the other half too from a contractor standpoint.
Yeah, I think if we were going to look at any modification, it'd be doing something like maybe a retainer, right? Where based on a contractor's estimate, they expect that it's going to cost $5,000 and the homeowner puts $2,500 into it, and we won't pay anything until the work's completed and inspected.
Well, I think if we go and inspect it and it's wrong and they've already paid the contractor,
really.
Oh, I wouldn't
they're
expect
really-
them to
they're
pay
really-
it.
The likelihood that contractor's coming
inspected
back.
That it's wrong. We only go verify that it occurred. It's really the property owner's responsibility, their liability.
Okay.
So again, we just make sure it's been done, that we don't have a make-believe receipt says I did it and here's your money and they never did anything.
Right. And I guess it's the same of, go and inspect that it's been done with a receipt and we're paying our half. I don't know if that would be within the realm so they don't have to front. So if somebody's got to come up with 30 grand for a project.
Well, pending
That's a
the
lot.
timeframe that they have with the contractor, they may not. It sounds like they wouldn't have to provide do they have to provide a receipt that it's already been paid
Right, yep,
to the city?
yep. We
Or
need to know.
not,
you know,
not
it's been
invoice
paid.
based?
Right. So they've got to pay their half and our half.
Yeah, so if I was looking at modifying it in any way, I mean, I would focus more on that side of it.
Yep. And a question I had was on the soil quality restoration.
Mhm.
We've designated it out as separate. Why is it separate, not just part of the limits of the rest of it?
Because for a typical house, it doesn't cost that much. It's been running around that $1,000.
Okay, and what is a soil quality restoration type project, I guess?
Basically, they'll come in and they'll low mulch and things in your backyard. So basically, if you don't have topsoil, you have better quality on top. And then basically your grass grows back through and then it absorbs the water better. And in theory, you shouldn't have to treat your yard, fertilizer, things like that, if you got a good quality base there. But as again, I could be wrong, but I still think it's, maybe 3 people have taken advantage of that.
I'm assuming the primary issue is with new construction in that regard.
Again, with the 3 that we've had, I can't tell you exactly where they've been. One rule we do have is though, when you're in new construction, you need to have been in it for a year and paying into the fund. Basically, the intent on that was we didn't want homeowners fixing developer issues with the grant that the developers should be fixing.
We require topsoil anyway now for new
Correct,
developments. I mean, there was a time probably that they were putting the sod right on clay but there wasn't a lot of topsoil, but I think, yeah.
Yep, I think that's improved greatly.
And I guess if you get a request over these numbers, would you bring it back to us or would that be the process, I
I mean,
guess?
I think, yes, I think we could, if we have something come in that's over and we think it's a good quality project, we can always bring it back and ask you in this instance to amend. We've done that in a past project where a neighbor was doing a project, hadn't talked to his neighbor, and they decided to combine it. And we had a rule, though, you can't do the work and then come ask for the money ahead, after the fact. Well, the council said, all right, it's combined with that, we'll let this happen this time kind of thing. So I think there's always special circumstances that we can work with you and bring to you.
And I guess the leftover dollars too, at what point do we just, keep budgeting maybe the 200, but scrape back the rest for other city projects?
That's what I think we're getting now, that I would think next time we do a budget, I don't think we put any money in and then we just kind of monitor it. When we first started out at the 50,000, we had a lot of takers, so then we upped it to the 200, which was maybe a little more than it needed to be.
I don't know that I would want to zero it out,
Well, we'd still have that balance, so we'd still have money there.
but I
until-
think in 4 years, it'd be harder to go back and find 100 or 200,000.
Right, I was more like if we have, it sounds like 200 and some thousand left over, that we scrape that leftover, but keep a $200,000 budget going
Keep in
forward.
mind, this is an enterprise fund, so everything stays in there. It's not like the normal budget where it would go into the surplus. It's always there. So anything that's left over on any of the stormwater money is always there within that fund.
Right.
And again, I can,
That's a January discussion, probably.
yeah, I think, and on your other question, I think, if that's the council's directive, we would have to talk with Nikki Lamb and just make sure that there's not any issues if we pay the contractor directly, because normally, I believe that through this, I mean, it's still considered income and they get a statement at the end of the year. So if we're paying the contractor, how that would all work.
And I would suggest maybe we move this forward, and then with the anticipation that we will see maybe something further when it comes to potentially paying more, well, after you've cleared it with Nikki's, so we can at least get these limits.
Paying more, or are you talking about?
Yeah,
doing
Or
more
paying up front.
paying up front.
So
Yeah,
approving,
paying at the same time the homeowner does.
Yeah.
got it.
With that expectation But again, upping the level so we can at least move this forward.
Yeah. Yep. So is that a motion?
That's my line.
Motion. After all that, yes, the same thing will come out. Motion to approve council level letter, which one is it? 7113.
5. Or 3. You're right, 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm one ahead.
Second.
Motion by Blake, second by Kroll. Any further discussion? Please vote. All right, thank you. That passes. It's also good to see that, we're out in the forefront, I think, in the metro area on that. So I think we're being very aggressive on that. But it's always good to take a look at it and make sure we're doing it right. So, all right, item 10.3 then is consider the bids for the 2022 sanitary sewer spot repair program. John?
Again, yeah, this is our bid tabulation for our spot repair program. So it was on June 8th, we received 5 bids for the project. We're recommending the low bid from the Raccoon Valley Contractors in the amount of $54,499. Their bid was approximately $1,200 or 2% less than our engineer's estimate. This project will be 100% funded by the Urbandale Sanitary Sewer District, and we're anticipating the work being done by December 1st. Just to show where the locations are, and basically these locations are areas through televising the pipes that we found like a crack or a separation, so we need to dig down and repair that section of the pipe. So this is Douglas and 86th Street here. So we've got one just to the northeast of 86th and Douglas, and the other 2 are just north and south of Douglas, about halfway between 86th Street and 100th. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Any questions?
I move approval of council letter 7115.
Motion by Kroll. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that item passes. Item 10.4 is to consider the final acceptance of Fire Station 43 and the associated fuel station and the mutual settlement agreement release with Graphite Construction Group, Inc. And I'll turn it over to our City Attorney, Bob Layden. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In front of you tonight is the acceptance of the project, Fire Station 43, the fuel station, also approval of our settlement agreement. As everyone at the council knows, we were scheduled for arbitration actually yesterday, and we have a conference call at 10 tomorrow morning with the arbitrator to tell him that we've resolved our issues. And this has been a long, arduous process. In the audience is Maria Brownell. Online is Brad Beeman. And I want to tell you, they've done excellent work on behalf of the city as council in this matter. It has taken us a long time to get to where we're at, to say the least. And Maria and I would be more than happy to answer any questions. I think the council knows the settlement amount. And there's also mutual release of all claims on both sides. There's also what we call 573 claims, which are the subclaims. That'll be taken care of by Graphite, not the city, or Roshan, same individual. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions should the council have questions.
All right, thank you, Bob. Any questions?
The last part you just said about the subclaims, would that be the subcontractors' actions against Roshan?
Yes, and there's an amount carved out, Bridget, for those claims that we're aware of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'd also just like to thank the hard work of the whole team on this. This has been a long time coming from the days of trying to get people to vote for the fire station. And now we have an operational fire station that is serving our community very well. So I'm very glad to finally accept the completed project.
So
If you want me to make that a motion?
Yes.
I happily move approval of Council Letter 7100.
A motion by Carberry Montgomery. Second by McBurney. Any further discussion? Please vote. All right, that passes. And again, yes, it's been a long road, but I appreciate our representation. Maria and Brad, thanks for outside counsel, and it's obviously a lot of time with our city staff as well, so thank you, everybody, for seeing us through to this thing. Appreciate it. All right, that takes us to the end of our regular agenda, mayor and council items. Adam?
Just obviously with a lot of the heat, it's amazing. Obviously the cooling centers that open, but also as we walked in here, there was Park and Rec staff going out to go play with kids in the park. There's Public Works people replacing cement near my office. Just the amount of work that's being done in this heat still and the staff that's out there, just wanted to give them a lot of thanks and kudos because not all of us get to sit in air conditioning all day long, and definitely appreciate the work that's being done.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Amy?
Just a couple of things. Metro Advisory Council met this morning. Fireworks are going to be an issue, as we may have already experienced. I don't know if your neighborhoods have experienced them. Mine have. Mine started last night again. So just a reminder to call in firework complaints to the non-emergency number, correct? Yep. And yeah, do your due diligence to make those calls. Also, the Metro Advisory Council this morning talked about curbing gun violence and taking that up at a request to the other cities asking what we are interested in doing in relation to gun violence. So I think that's going to be a topic that we need to probably have a conversation about.
Yep.
Yeah, the other pieces are more perfunctory, so.
Well, thanks for covering that. I was not able to be there, as Amy and I talked about. I was double booked for board meetings today, so I appreciate following that. And Amy and I had a conversation about the guns. I think the MAC is probably a very good venue for that, to take that up on a metro basis, to try to get some leadership on that. So thanks. Bridget?
I was just hoping that John could maybe give a brief update on the Douglas project. It looks like it's pretty close to being done, or no, I don't know. I hear a lot of, or at least one person complains a lot to me about it.
So basically, they're still trying to wrap up the inside. Again, we're getting likely rain again tonight, which really seems to be slowing them down because they're doing the fill. I think most of the inside medians are filled. They need to bring in the black dirt, get that all done. So once that inside is done, then they still got to finish on the outside. There's a little bit of curb, and then they still need to do the asphalt trail portion there. I'm still hopeful if weather cooperates, though, by hopefully the 4th of July, we're in pretty good shape there, but we'll have to see.
John, on the westbound lanes, are they going to make even that? It seems like the two lanes are a little bit uneven. I don't know if there's a little bit of a crown there in the middle. Is that going to settle in as time goes on, or do they roll that again or something?
Not typically. So again, you always kind of see a seam there, but again, have to see if it's actually noticeable or not. Because if you look, even going on 86th Street, you can still see right through the middle that there's the seam where they came together.
Right.
And also on these nice hot days when people do drive, that does push it down a little bit too.
True.
So.
Okay.
But again, and they're working on getting the traffic signal all up and working too as well. Again, it's coming together, just not as quickly as we'd like.
Thank you for the update, and that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Bridget. Matt?
Tomorrow will be because I believe Larry takes it over in the new fiscal year, will be my last meeting with Bravo. So and again, we probably have to go through the process of getting Larry on. So that's just up. I connected with Ron because I'm technically on Metro Waste Authority as well, though Ron is the primary. His term or I'm the primary, he's the alternate, but he's the chair. His term ends with chair in the end of the year, so I will probably start going to meetings in October to start kind of transitioning on. So just kind of an update on those committees. So I will have an update on Bravo for the next meeting. And then finally, of course, we had the presentation, but I'm also still on the on 4th of July. Hopefully you are all promoting all the fun events that we have, all the things I've already conned in, and I'm saying this out loud so people in the room know what the mayor has already agreed to do, which is to partake. We're bringing the eating contest back, and it's a pie eating contest this year, and the mayor has already agreed to come and compete. So I'm just promoting that already.
Is it a berry pie or what is it?
We're figuring that out. It's TBD. It's a berry pie, I think.
Minced meat.
It's,
We don't know how
yeah,
many.
it's a hot soup pie. Anyway, but, and so it's, just wanted to point that out, that a lot of fun things that are coming this way with the committee that's hard to work. And there should be a lot of wonderful activities. So that's it from me.
Thanks, man. And Nicole, if I haven't already given that to you, I think there you have it. That's the transitions. So for those appointments, I need to get that done. So we'll get that taken care of. So, again, yeah, Larry, thanks for taking over on Bravo, and Matt, thanks for your service on there. So, Larry.
Just a couple quick things. So the biggest is on the 16th in 2 days, we will have our Grow Solar Power Hour here in this very room. We've already had quite a reception of folks. We have three projects that are already going right now, along with multiple that are out to bid. In Urbandale? Across all of Polk County. Yeah, he just gave me Polk County's numbers. So it's growing, and it's growing exponentially, and we're hoping to see a lot more folks interested in it. So please stop by. I know I plan on attending, barring any other mishaps like a fan falling. That's the reason why I wasn't at the ice cream social last night. It's fun. Second is our local VFW is holding a flag retirement ceremony this Saturday. It will be at Camp Dodge. It starts at 10 a.m. and it goes until 4 p.m. They're grilling out. They are open to the public, so if anyone wants to attend and come out and support the local VFW, they'll be grilling out and they'll have food, and yeah, it's just a good time.
All right. Thank you, Larry. Yep. Just have a few things I want to note. Again, this morning was the Icon Water Trails. I'm our Urbandale's rep on that, and they're moving ahead. Probably the most notable thing is that the bill grant was amended, so I think the first bid on that kind of took everybody's breath away, but I think they've got that amended now that it's in a workable position. So feel pretty good about that the water trails will be still moving forward and still hopefully be a success. Tomorrow, wait a minute, I'm trying to think, when's the hot dog? Thursday at Walnut Creek Regional Park over the noon hour. So we have that for the public art there.
No, it's not for the public.
No, wait a minute. The shelter. Thank you. I'm getting all my events.
Toilet a lot on my behalf since I won't be able to be there.
I'm getting all the events messed up. So, yeah, so I know it's over the noon hour there. So come out and have some hot dogs. Hopefully it won't be as warm. State of the City on June 30. We got that scheduled. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you there. So, and Party in the Park on Friday. That's right.
And the Historical Society.
And the ice cream social is a week from Sunday, right? Yeah. So a lot of good things coming up. Busy summer.
Introduce the intern? Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. 3 words, second syllable. Sounds like.
It's a movie.
Thanks, Mayor and Council, and thank you, AJ. As you know, since 2013, we've had an intern with the Economic Development Department. It's been a very successful program, and we always begin with a commitment to, we want this to be as valuable for the intern as it is for us. And if the success of the interns who have come before Cameron is any indication, it definitely has been. So this summer, we are very proud to bring on Cameron Carpenter, a Des Moines native and a proud Hawkeye twice over. But that's all the introduction I'll make. I'll let you introduce yourself, a little bit of your background and what you're working on this summer.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Cameron. I'm a master's student at the University of Iowa, getting my master's in public affairs. This summer, I just finished 16 maps today. So in addition to doing economic development stuff that they have me doing, I'm also making a lot of demographic maps. So I'm looking at different attributes to kind of help you all make decisions. So I'm looking at all that data, making it so it's spatially available. So we'll see where that goes, but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, welcome aboard.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I would just add, because we've been talking a lot about social service assessments, looking at different initiatives from affordable housing to equity issues. To make good policy decisions, we need good information. And Cameron has already exceeded our high expectations in terms of finding information and putting it together in a way that we lay people can look at and say, here are, this is what our community looks like, and this is where we can really move forward solutions that can make a difference. So thank you, AJ, for thinking of that, and welcome again, Cameron.
Thank you.
All right, welcome, Cameron, appreciate it. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned, thank you, everyone. And
No closed session? What's the deal?
we're working on that.
Oh.
You're gonna be working.